Okay, so welcome to week one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing this weekly. So this is the first of a series of recordings I'm going to be making, basically kind of outlining the content of the course that we're going to be covering during the week. All right, so then the actual lectures themselves and the slide decks are out there as well. So this is basically going to be, what we're going to do, kind of where we're at on the course, and then, where we're at any given point in time. All right. So, so what we're going to do for our first section here, all right, we're going to be talking about topic one. So actually, we're going to be in topic one. Topic one is a little misleading because there's actually 6 subtopics within it. So we're going to be covering this over the next 2 weeks, all right? Because this is a pretty big one here. Um, so what we have is broken up. So the first one is planning and security program management, cybersecurity planning and security program management. So this is really the idea of, you know, the structure of a cybersecurity program for an organization. Why do we have it? Why do we, you know, how are they structured? What are the objectives? What are the things you need to do in order to be successful? All right. So there's a lot, fair amount of stuff that's in this. So that's why this thing is broken up. So there's basically going to be 6 topics that we're going to talk about over the week or over the next 2 weeks. All right. So topic one is going to be cyber threats analysis. 1.2 is going to be introductions to the idea of a computer security program and IT project management. All right, so really how these things are constructed, how do these things execute? 3 is going to be talking about the life cycle of it, because these things, that there is a planning and execution life cycle of all these things that go through, like from security, from security perspective. So what we want to do is understand what these are, um, you know, be able to a product life cycle, the application of number 1, a security model, 2, a product life cycle, and then what is the life cycle of security itself. All right, so that's going to be 3. 4 is going to be talking about quality assurance, like how do we monitor how well we're doing, and what are the things what are the things we need to check on, and how do we focus on continuous improvement? How do we know we are actually achieving security through the implementation of our program? 1.5, we're going to be talking about supply chain security. All right, understand, what are the things, one of the big things right now, organizations, as we're seeing over the past couple of weeks, with the coronavirus outbreak, you hear a lot of discussions of organizations about concerns about their supply chains and how their supply chains are structured. And, so this is really kind of looking at it and what are the security implications of it. All right. And then finally, the last one is going to be security awareness and training. So this is, the thing about security is it's not something that, people intrinsically grasp or people are totally aware of it. So there's a whole process that has to be undertaken around communicating, the importance of it, how it should be done, all these different steps that need to be executed in order to, ensure that the security program that's put out there does what it's supposed to do. All right, so what we're going to look at. So if we look at take a quick look here at our topics for weeks 1 and 2. Right, so these are the 6 areas. All right, and then the lectures for these, the matching lectures for these are here. So this is basically matched as topic lecture 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. The quizzes for these, so there's quizzes, there's actually 2 sets of quizzes. There's 2 quizzes, set of 2 quizzes. For topic 1 1 through 1.3. Okay, so they're both open now. So if you want to take them, you would double click on it on the quiz, and it'll take you to the quiz. Go back. Okay, and then what else do we have here? So the other thing we have is, oh, yes, within this, there's a couple questions, participation questions. Remember what I had said? One of the things is, we usually have not done this, but I think because we're doing this online and the nature of the course, uh, I've created a couple participation discussions. All right, which you'll be working with over the next 2 weeks. All right, so the first one we want to have done by the 22nd of March, which is this upcoming Sunday, and responses should be done by the 29th of March. All right, so the first one is for 1-1. Question is, what are some of the major, we talk about a bunch of different types of threats. Think about are there other types of cyber threats that are not necessarily discussed? There's, what are potential cyber threats? Things that we might not have talked about, within the discussion itself. All right, so that would be question one. Question two is associated with four, quality assurance. All right. So if we look at our question here, is we talk about QA. So this section is about QA reviews. What do you think about the importance of it? And what would happen if we didn't do it? What are some of the implications? What are some things that could occur if you didn't, apply quality assurance to IT security? Right, so that's our second discussion question. And the third discussion question, we'll try to make it a little more relevant, is one for 1.5, all right, which we're dealing with supply chain. So if we look at this one, this is the question is dealing with really the idea of, in our current situation right now, the coronavirus. Currently undergoing a pandemic. Do you think the impact of the virus has been on supply chains, and should this have been a threat that organizations should have anticipated? All right, because obviously, if you had an understanding of that in advance, you could have prepared yourself to maybe reduce or mitigate the impact. All right, so those are three. They're open-ended questions, so it's not like there's a right answer or a wrong answer. I'm looking to get perspectives from everyone and try to establish a dialogue or an engagement, within the class. Obviously, we're working on this class in kind of an asynchronous fashion. Not everybody's talking to each other at the same time. So this is the means by which I want to kind of engage a conversation and discussion. All right. So I think that's about it for what we're going to cover. So basically, for the next 2 weeks through the 29th, we're going to be focused on the section one, all the content that's in section one. We need to do the 2 quizzes and the 3 topic questions. All right. And in addition, we need, if you haven't done your introductions yet, I'm going to encourage you to put your introductions out there. And also, if you have not yet sent me a notification that you are participating in the class, please do so as soon as you possibly can. All right, that's about it. And if there's any questions, just reach out to me. Talk to you soon.